Yo, what is going on everyone? Armlock311 here, and Bungie just finished up their live stream talking about all the new changes coming to PvP, and I gotta tell you, they are changing so much. This is drastically going to change PvP. They're doing a lot more to changes than I thought they would be doing. So I'm probably gonna have to break this up into two videos. I'm gonna do a video on the weapon changes, I'm gonna do a video on everything else, the ammo, the exotics, the classes. They did a lot of changes, guys. So this is going to be the weapon video. I'm going to talk about what they did to all the weapons. First of all, sidearms. Absolutely no changes to sidearms. I thought for sure they were going to do some changes, but sidearms are still going to be really good due to other changes, so I'll just go ahead and keep going. Shotguns. They actually nerfed shotguns in several different ways. Shotguns, they removed aim assist with hip fire. So if you hip fire your shotgun, you have absolutely no aim assist, no stickiness, nothing at all. They also decreased the in-air accuracy. Now, the in-air accuracy for shotguns was already, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as being on the ground. But now, like, if you're jumping in the air like a hunter like I do, it's going to be much harder to kill people with a shotgun that way. They also removed precision damage on shotgun, so if you shoot someone in the head, you get no precision damage whatsoever, no damage buff at all. The exception to this is the universal remote and the chaperone. See, Bungie's not... They know what they're doing to an extent, but to make up for the no precision damage, they increased shotgun damage only in PvE. Only in PvE, no increase of damage to PvP. With rangefinder on shotguns, they increased the ADS time, so it's going to take longer to aim your shotgun if you have rangefinder on that shotgun. Also, previously, there were a bunch of movement nerfs to shotguns. Those have been removed. Not sure exactly what all those were, but there were some movement nerfs to shotguns. Those have been removed, so a slight buff in the movement sense. That's it. That's all they did to special weapons was nerf shotguns. They didn't buff fusions, they didn't buff snipers, they didn't buff sidearms, they just nerfed shotguns. Now, they did a lot of stuff to primaries, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. They're talking about pulse rifles, Clever Dragon. That super fast rate of fire pulse rifle, they actually decrease the fire rate, so it has a longer time to kill. Each burst is going to take one more additional frame to shoot. So the Clever Dragon and the Grasp of Malak are not going to shoot as fast. They also reduced flinch overall with pulse rifles in the sense that if you shoot somebody, that person is not going to flinch as much. If you shoot someone with a pulse rifle, the person you are shooting with said pulse rifle is not going to flinch as much, even if you have high cal. So just an overall nerf to flinch on pulse rifles. Also, they did a specific nerf to the Clever Dragon and Grasp of Malak magazine size. If you have braced frame on like a Clever Dragon, like my Clever Dragon has braced frame, it has 24 bullets in the magazine. It's now going to go down to 18 with braced frame. So overall, these weapons have smaller magazines, and then if you do other perks such as braced frame, which reduce that even further, you're talking about an extremely small magazine size. Now, they did buff the very high impact, low rate of fire pulse rifles. They didn't touch damage, but they increased the burst speed, which means you can shoot those high impact pulse rifles much faster, which means they do have a faster time to kill. Auto rifles. Everyone is looking for auto rifle buffs, including myself, and they increased the damage on the Doctrine class, and they increased the precision damage on all auto rifles. So big AR buff. Can't wait to try out some of those. Hand cannons. Now, they actually did some pretty weird things to hand cannons. I didn't think they were going to do as much as they did, but here we go. The initial accuracy of hand cannons has been brought back to year 1 status. Now, the hand cannons are not as good as they were in year 1, just the initial accuracy. So if you're just aiming down sight, you haven't shot your hand cannon yet, and you shoot somebody, that accuracy has been increased back to year 1 status. Now, there's still bloom on the hand cannon. So if you're spamming shots, you're still going to have bloom, you're still going to have ghost bullets, but that initial accuracy on hand cannons is much, much better. They also, if that was the only thing they did to hand cannons would be overpowered. So what they had to do was reduce the base range, meaning that there's going to be more damage drop-off. which means if you're trying to have a hand cannon battle with someone at a distance, you're going to be doing even less damage to them than you already do. So there's a slight buff to hand cannons and a nerf to hand cannons at the same time. And then something they did to all primaries was gave all primaries in-air accuracy, which means as of right now in Destiny, like if you have an auto rifle and you jump in the air and try to shoot somebody, you're most likely going to miss them. That's the same with all primaries except hand cannons. Hand cannons have very good in-air accuracy. Now, all primaries have an increased in-air accuracy, but hand cannons still have the best in-air accuracy. I think that's a very, very good move, especially to combat rushing shotgunners. If they're running at you and you're jumping back and you have an AR in your hands, like you were screwed. There's nothing you could do. By the time you land on the ground, the shotgunner was right there and he had you dead. Now you can jump back, pedal back, jump over people with primaries out and have a chance of actually doing some damage with said primary. Hand cannon's still the best for in-air accuracy though. So that's what they did for the weapon changes overall. I think they're very good changes. I was definitely expecting a little bit of a buff to sidearms, but in my next video, when I talk about what they did to special ammo, what they're doing to the subclasses and everything, I think it's going to make sense why they did not touch sidearms at all. A lot of people expecting a buff to snipers, and that is not the case. No buffs came to snipers, no nerfs, no buffs. Same thing for fusion rifles. So it's definitely going to be a more primary based meta that's coming. A primary based meta. A lot of people have really been looking forward to this. It almost seems like it's going to play more like Halo, but I'll talk about that more in the next video. I have been Armlock311. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about these weapon balance changes. Stay tuned for the next video talking about what they did to Hunters, Warlocks, Titans, and some exotics. And peace.